We begin this Wednesday with the breaking news overnight. A historic breakthrough at COP28, sending a strong signal that the world will move toward a greener future. Negotiators work through the night on the deal, which for the first time ever calls for transitioning away from fossil fuels.
Hearing no objection, it is so decided.
That was the moment. The vote, the ovation, as COP President Sultan Al Jaber of the United Arab Emirates approved the deal early this morning. The final agreement contains stronger language than previous proposals, but it stopped short of calling for the phasing out or phasing down of fossil fuels. And not everyone is satisfied with the new text as a result. Critics say the deal isn't ambitious enough and contains loopholes which will allow countries to continue using fossil fuels. But let's go right to Dubai and our international climate correspondent, Susan Ormiston, who is live to lead off our coverage. Susan, tell us more about this deal. Historic in nature. What is in it? How did it come about?
Well, we're standing just outside that plenary you just saw, which is wrapping up after several hours. You saw that dramatic moment as Sultan Al Jaber gavelled in this agreement. And what you didn't see was how quickly it happened. We were expecting perhaps hours of talk in that plenary, maybe some objections, maybe people trying to take it to another draft. But in fact, it just happened within moments. He got up. He gavelled it in, he said, with no objection, and there you have it. I mean, 2 days ago, it looked as if that deal may not happen at all. It was one draft that was extremely fractious, a lot of stern reaction to it, people saying there's no way, the European Union threatening to walk out. And then early this morning, we got this final draft, which was approved by the 190 countries here in Dubai. And here's a little bit more of what Al Jaber said was in the agreement.
Stepping up to deliver against very ambitious goals and objectives, and for the first time to deliver on methane and emissions. And we have language on fossil fuel in our final agreement for the first time ever.
That is the headline from today, the words fossil fuels and transitioning away from them for the very first time in a climate agreement after 30 years of these UN conferences. Many people are saying this is a very big step, that we are finally seeing one of the sources, the main source of greenhouse gases being targeted in this climate talks. There's no countries can't be forced to curb production of oil and gas, but it sends a signal to the world that it is moving away from oil and gas and coal, and that it should happen in this decade, in the next 7 years. So that time frame was also very important for people who were waiting for these words.
Susan, this deal is being criticized, not ambitious enough, too many loopholes. What's the range of reaction you're seeing today?
I think it's fair to say that the majority of people here have noted that putting fossil fuels in this climate agreement is a big step that's taken a long time to accomplish. However, they are saying there are loopholes which will allow oil and gas production to continue and even expand in some cases if they are able to capture those carbon emissions before they go into the atmosphere. So in no way does this signal that this is the end of oil and gas, and that pragmatically, practically speaking, couldn't happen anyway. But there are other issues here, and a big one is finding the money for developing countries to transition into new energies, into renewables, for example. There's a huge gap there of the funding needed to help these countries make that leap into renewables. One of the important and notable outcomes of this 2 weeks is that Many countries are committing to triple their renewable energy capacity by 2030, so after the next 7 years, so another move towards clean energy. And so there are people who are unsatisfied with the financing part of this, and also for not enough money, Heather, to help countries already facing climate change, facing the effects of it, and how do they adapt and cope with a climate that's changed and changed forever. So there's a money discussion here. But it's been very interesting to watch this move along throughout a really long 24, 36 hours to get to this deal. Phase out and phase down may be gone forever from language. We don't know, but certainly those were red lines that could not be met here at this conference. Saudi Arabia tried to block it along with other oil-producing countries. So this is where we're at. People will go home with a sense of accomplishment, not everything, but in a consensus agreement with 190 countries, you don't expect that anyway.
Susan, listen, I know there'll be more reporting from you through the day, but thank you for all of the coverage throughout COP28, the summation there, with that historic agreement. And Susan Ormiston, international climate correspondent, live in Dubai today.